What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about pickup phase. You know, like when you put it in the middle position and all of a sudden it sounds like you're plugged your nose and it's like really like nasally and super weak. That. And we're going to talk about why that happens and how to avoid it. And if you have a bunch of parts, you know, in a drawer at home, how to hook them up. You know, like you got a bunch of pickups in a drawer and you want to use them, but you're not really sure how to wire them up, how to fix those problems, that sort of stuff. We're going to dig into that. So let's talk about what it is first. Obviously, when we have single pickup guitars like these here juniors, you know, like this SG Junior right here, you don't need to worry about that. You only got one pickup. For example, when we go over here and we've got a Telecaster, you've got two pickups. So all of a sudden, when you put it in the middle, then you could have an out of phase situation if it's not correct. We've got this pickup over here, this guitar over here, and we could say that could also happen in that case as well. And then, of course, with two humbuckers, like in our Texas Toast Gasser here, this guy right here, we could have them out of phase. And you could have, you know, like the Peter Green thing, you could do it on purpose, but you could also have it by accident. So let's move over to the bench. I'm going to get some pickups. We're going to lay them out, and I'm going to show you a couple of things you might need to know. So let's start off super simple. Let's start off with two pickups. And what we're going to do actually is we're going to start off with one because we're going to talk about the factors that lead to out of phaseness in a pickup. First of all, when we talk about the construction of our pickup here, we've got our coil wind direction, okay? So either it's going to be clockwise or it's going to be counter clockwise, right? So the wire is actually going to be wrapped around this way. Well, that's counterclockwise. I did it backwards. But anyway, the wire is going to be wrapped around one direction or the other, right? And then the other thing is that we're going to have our magnet in here, right? So we've got this magnet, and let's make two magnets here. So this magnet could be north-south, or it could be south-north, right? It could be both ways. So we've got a couple of things here. We've got our phase, which is our electrical phase. So we say when a pickup is out of phase, we say phase, but really it's two factors. It's our electrical phase, which is the wire hookup direction, okay? And then we've got magnetic polarity up here that is also a factor. Let me grab two pieces of wire. So there's a couple of things that we could do here. When we wind a pickup, so let's go ahead and draw our pickup a little bit bigger. So we could have our start wire here. This is our start. And then we could have our finish wire that kind of comes around the outside. And this could be our finish. Or we could do it the other way around. And then when we go ahead and we hook up our wires, we could have our start, which is what typically I do. Our start goes to ground, and our finish goes to our switch or our pot or whatever, basically our hot, right? Or we could switch them, and that would change the electrical phase of the pickup. Or we could do this, and we could wind the pickup the other way and have this be our start and this be our finish. And we could have the hot on the finish and the, see what I mean? So the direction of the coil could be different, or we could just switch our wires. There's a couple of theories on which one is best. And so I will tell you right now that we wind everything here, basically everything, counterclockwise. So we wind everything counterclockwise, and then basically what we do is we put our ground on our start. That gives us our quietest result. So basically that is how it works for me. Yes, so this pickup right here, if we're talking about this whole conversation, in fact, let's go ahead and we'll just slide you down. So this conversation right here, this pickup is actually, this is the start on this side, this is the finish on this side, and we would then, if it was a single pickup guitar, we would put the black wire, we would hook it up like this. Right? So that's typically how I do it. So the start finish ends up being the ground. Now, once we add 2 pickups into the deal, then things change a little bit. We have to think about magnetic polarity and electrical phase. So, this is how we do it. This is the start. So this is our bridge pickup. This is our neck pickup. This is the start and this is the finish. And so we're going to put our black wire on our start here, and we're going to put our white wire on our finish. We just get 2 more wires. And then on our neck pickup, we're going to do it the opposite. But you're going to say, well, wait a minute. If you do that, then it's going to be out of phase electrically. You are correct. So then the way you correct that is on this pickup, this magnet is going to be south up, north down. On this magnet, we are going to be north up, south down. So, in order for a pickup to be quote-unquote tonally in phase, both things have to be true. The electrical phase and the magnetic polarity need to be completely opposite. If we were to go like this and leave everything the same, all of a sudden that pickup would sound nasally and weird. If we were to switch the magnet direction, then the pickup would be, right? So let's say we had south up, but the electrical phase was opposite, it would be out of phase. If the electrical phase was opposite, but the pickups were the same, or the magnets were the same, it would also be out of phase. So both things have to be true. So you have to switch the wires and the magnetic polarity in order for it to be in phase sounding and not have that nasally thing. That's how it works. So if you have just one thing wrong, it'll be out of phase. If you have both things opposite, it won't be. Editing, I want to put one more point in here. If you take 2 pickups and they are both, for example, north up and negative on the start with the same coil direction, they'll be fine. If you have them both south up and negative, like everything, if everything is the same on both pickups, wind direction, electrical hookup, and magnetic phase, magnetic polarity, everything is the same on both pickups, they'll be in phase and it'll be totally fine. You won't have that nasally thing. If one of those things is wrong, it will be out of phase. If everything is opposite, like we just demonstrated here, then it'll be fine. But you can't kind of have it a little of one and a little of the other. We'll simplify this later in the video. Trust me, it's not that complicated. Now, here is where the challenge comes in with a Telecaster especially. Because when you have a Telecaster, let me grab another neck pickup here. If you were to, let's say you were to have a whole drawer full, and you go ahead and you put this let's say I've got this one, maybe you've got one of mine, and you've got somebody, maybe a Lawler one or an old Fender one, or you got some stuff in a drawer and you're trying to put a kit together, you're trying to put a guitar together, right? Like build up kind of a parts caster. And you're like, oh, I got this neck pickup. Oh, I got this bridge pickup. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the guitar, and then you put it in there and everything's out of phase. Well, the problem with a Telecaster is you've got 2 grounding situations here that are outside of our phase situation. If you were to just switch the wires, which is something you can do, so let's say you're out of phase, then basically all you have to do is just switch the wires. Take this black wire, hook it up to the hot, take this white wire, hook it up to the ground, and boom, you'll be in phase if you were out of phase to start with. The problem is that on a Telecaster, one of these is grounded. So you'd have to snip that and then ground this other one. You can do it on the bridge pickup, but the problem is it's harder to do because you've got that bridge plate on there that's grounded through the strings. So my suggestion would be, if you have two pickups out of phase on a Telecaster, just snip it where the cover is grounded, and then just ground the cover to the other side if you were going to do that. Now, let's go ahead and look at a Strat setup. Now, a Strat setup is a little bit different because a lot of times we want it to be hum canceling in the middle. So a lot of times, we would have our start, our finish, our start, our finish, our start, our finish, like so. And we don't actually, when we do this, a reverse wound, reverse polarity situation, we don't actually wind the pickup backwards. Basically, all we do is this one, this side is grounded, and this goes to the switch. Same thing here. This side, the start, is grounded, and this side goes to the switch. And then here, this side is grounded, the finish is grounded, and this side goes to the switch. And our magnetic polarity goes south up, north down here. It goes south up, north down here. And in the middle, we go north up, south down. So we actually do exactly what we just talked about. This one and this one will never be out of phase because everything is the opposite. This one and this one will never be out of phase because everything is the opposite. And if you were to add a Gilmore mod and turn on this pickup with this pickup, which is basically what a Gilmore mod does, since these are the same, they wouldn't be noise canceling in that situation, but it doesn't matter because they'd all be on, but they also wouldn't be out of phase. Little side benefit there for you too. So what if you have a Stratocaster and all of a sudden something is out of phase? Just flip the wires. That's all you got to do. There's another way to do it, and that is to actually change the magnetic polarity. However, you have to have tools to do that. You have to have a magnetizer to do that. And what you can do is you can actually just flip the pickup upside down in the magnetizer, and you will actually change the magnetic polarity of the magnets, and then you can put it in the guitar and it will be the opposite. But for all intents and purposes, if you are playing around with a bunch of pickups like this that you've got in your drawer, and you put this one in a guitar and they're out of phase, just flip the wires. The only thing is, on this pickup right here, the Telecaster neck pickup, you're just going to have to make sure that you ground that other side. On a Strat, doesn't matter because they don't have any grounds that touch the bridge, right? So just flip the wires. Now, what about on a humbucker? All right, so here is a humbucker, and the way a humbucker works is different. So we've got our magnet and we've got our two bobbins, and the way they work is they fit right in there like that. Basically, the screws go down here, the slugs, or vice versa, go down here, and you've got the magnet underneath. Now, something that you might not know or should know, I'm going to show you right now, is that the magnet is not actually, this flat side doesn't matter. What matters is the edge. So when we look at the magnet this way, one side's going to be south and one side's going to be north. So it's actually this edge right here that touches the bobbin. That's the edge that matters. So if you want, and the way we hook up a humbucker is we've got our coil, and we've got, so it goes like this, right? And then this one goes like this. Now, they both go the same direction. So basically, for illustration purposes, these are both going to be counterclockwise. And then the way this works is you've got a start and a finish, and a start and a finish. And the way they're wired to the guitar is you take both finishes and you tie them together like that. And you can either just leave them alone, or you can run them to a switch for a coil split. And then you take the starts, and one goes to ground, and the other start goes to your switch or your pot or whatever. Now, oftentimes, this is done not with wires that can be switched around. A lot of times it's done with this braided wire, right? So how do you switch polarity in a pickup? You flip the magnet over. So you loosen the base plate a little bit, you poke it out the end, you flip it over, and you put it back in. That is how you switch the phase on a humbucker. Now, one thing that does not cause phase to flip on a humbucker, if you take a humbucker and it's in the guitar and you're out of phase, or you want to make it out of phase, like Peter Green, simply going like this does not make it out of phase. It does not matter which way any of these pickups actually are facing in the guitar. Doesn't matter. It will not switch the phase. The direction of this magnet in relation to the coils has to switch. Now, I realize that was a little bit down and dirty, but the reason I did it that way is because honestly, everybody overthinks this crap. The long and the short of it is, humbuckers, if you want to flip the phase and it's a 2-wire, just flip the magnet over. If it's a 4-wire, you can take the 2 pickup wires that hook it up and flip them around. The only thing is you just got to make sure that the cover is not grounded. On a Telecaster, same thing. If you've got out of phase pickups, just flip the wires around. You won't hurt anything. It won't be any noisier. There won't be any issues, except do it on the neck pickup and take that little one that's hooked to the cover and hook it to the other one instead. Otherwise, the cover will buzz now that it's hot when you touch it. On a Stratocaster, super simple. If you've got pickups that are out of phase, just flip the wires. No big deal. If you're ordering a set from us, just let me know what the setup is. So if you say, I'm going to do this, and this, some crazy, setup. Now, here's the thing. Most of the time, if we sell you a set of pickups as a set, they're going to be made to work together, right? So like a Strat set. But if you order one from me separately and then order another one later, maybe just let me know what you've got. I ordered a neck last time, and now I'm ordering a bridge, so I'd like them to go together. That kind of thing. If you're doing random stuff out of your drawer, just play around with the wires until it's not out of phase anymore. You'll get there, and that's really it. There you go. In phase, out of phase. Magnetic polarity, electrical phase. They've got to be the same, or they've got to be completely the opposite. It's simple as that. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And we'll see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, do all those things. We'll talk to you soon.